Video on pomegranate liqueur part 2 because I've already made it. I made it with vodka last time and it took it down to about 30% alcohol, and I wanted to make it a little bit stronger, and I didn't realise that I could actually buy food grade alcohol in over the internet quite easily. So I've got some food grade alcohol which is at 95% alcohol. What I did do when I made it with vodka was I reduced the pomegranate juice down to get rid of some of the liquid, because if I'd added the normal pomegranate juice to it, it would have taken it down to about 10% alcohol, and that was like a slightly alcoholic pomegranate juice didn't really appeal to me. I wanted to make something kind of a bit stronger. So, but I kind of thought if I could get some food grade alcohol, then we could up the alcohol to maybe 40%, maybe 45%, and then it'll be a different kind of drink. So kind of different way of doing the same type of thing-ish, but with a little bit more alcohol. So, and also when you reduce the alcohol, when you reduce the pomegranate juice to get rid of some of the liquid, which is then replaced with the liquid in the vodka, because vodka is a pure alcohol. Vodka is 40% alcohol, 6% probably just water ish. So what you do is you reduce the liquid content of the pomegranate juice, which compensates for the liquid in the vodka, and you get something stronger. That kind of makes sense to me. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else, but if you're just using pure alcohol, what's pure-ish alcohol, then you don't have to evaporate off the water in the pomegranate, and that's potentially a taste changing difference, because if you once you heat something and cook it, it changes the flavour of things. So if you imagine what a raw apple tastes like, or apple juice tastes like, compared to a stewed apple, appley but different in flavour. So I thought by adding pure alcohol, we won't have to cook the pomegranate, so it'll be a slightly different flavour. However, the first recipe, I did put some sugar in because liqueurs are supposed to be a little bit sweet. I didn't want too much sugar, so we still have to heat some of the pomegranate juice, but we only have to heat some of it. So 400 milliliters of fresh pomegranate juice, filtered to get rid of any kind of sediment in there, and then I've taken 100 milliliters of that and I've boiled it, and I have added 100 grams of sugar. What you do is you boil the liquid first and then add the sugar, and then it's a quicker process. If you put the sugar and the juice in the pan and then bring it up to the boil, it takes a little bit longer and you lose liquid because it's larger volume, therefore it takes longer to boil. So I've done that, and then I'm going to add that back to the pomegranate juice. We'll give it a bit of a sloosh around. What's the best way to do this? We'll pour that into there. So as you can see there, it's gone syrupy. So a syrup is fundamentally equal quantities of juice and sugar, and therefore you make a syrup. That's a little bit sticky. So what you need to do is you need to rinse everything out until we get all the sugar and all the juice together. So it seems like a bit of a faff, but I don't want to waste any of the sugar. I want it to be like a little, kind of more of an experiment more than anything else. So things need to be better. I think it's getting there. So that in there, and then that in there. Rinse it out with a bit of juice, so I'm not kind of losing anything. There'll be a little bit more to add, but that's fine. I'm not bothered about that tiny little bit that's left. So I reckon, so if we want to take it down to about 40%, we need to be aiming at 2/3 of juice to 1/3 of alcohol, with a little bit of orange bitters which I made myself, and some orange flavouring as well. Get the sugar out of the way now. So I don't think 50-50 is going to. Maybe 50-50 might work. No, we'll go for 50-50. 50% of that and 50% of that, and then we can always add a little bit more. So we'll do the alcohol evaporates really quickly, so you kind of need to be careful of that. So we will add 200 milliliters into here, and then we'll have 200 millilitres of alcohol on top. If we pour the alcohol straight into there, it's going to start evaporating, which we don't want. So by lowering the alcohol content, by pouring it into here, it won't evaporate as much. It'll still evaporate off, but not as much. So 200 millilitres, which is half. And then we'll add 200 millilitres of the alcohol. And give it a stir. Well, we'll add some of the bitters, and then we'll give it a stir, and we'll give it a taste, and then we'll correct any kind of juice if we want to add more juice to it. So, if I remember the other recipe rightly, we're probably looking at about 1/4 teaspoon of orange flavouring, which would be about that much, probably more than you need. And then we'll do the same of the orange bitters. You can buy orange bitters. I just made some myself because I was curious, and the orange bitters that I bought was rather expensive, so I thought I'll make my own. There is a video on how to make it. It's pretty straightforward. So about 1/4 teaspoon of that. I've got a slight cold, so my taste buds aren't just quite as good, and my smell just isn't quite as good. But I should be able to detect if the alcohol is okay. So is it 400 millilitres? Yes, 400 millilitres. Actually, I can use that spoon. So we'll taste. It's nice, but it's got a real alcoholic kick. Is that so? We'll go for another 50 millilitres. With liqueurs, I didn't want. I remember having them at Christmas, and they were just like pure, like sugary type of kind of taste to them, and I didn't want that sugary type of taste. And if you was to have it over ice, it would go really thick because of the sugar content on it. Because obviously, if you chill sugar syrup, it goes thicker. So if you pour something over ice, it's going to go thick. And I didn't particularly like that about liqueurs. So I wanted something that's a little bit sweet, but still has that little bit of alcohol content. So that's all right. I still got a bit of a kick as that. So what's that? It's yeah, I reckon that'll be about 45%, 45% alcohol. That's pretty nice, is that? But I have got some of the pomegranate liqueur that I made before, which is in this one. So we'll just give this a bit of a try and a bit of a comparison. So I've still got the nice kind of kick, but less alcohol. We'll go for another 50 millilitres. I want something nice to drink. So I think that'll be quite nice. And it's also, my theory is to kind of make this. I'm using pomegranate juice, but you could use any kind of juice that you've got. So you could use cherry juice, you could use raspberry juice, you could use, but those are the juices, not purees. So juices like blackberry juice, raspberry juice, cherry juice, anything like that. And once you've got the basic recipe, then you can make any kind of liqueur, fruit liqueur that you want. See, that's nice, is that? That's really nice. So, what was the recipe? The recipe was 300 millilitres of the pomegranate syrup and 200 millilitres of the alcohol, and then 1/4 teaspoon each of the bitters and the orange essence, neutral flavouring. Just be careful if you're going to use something like this. This is a water-based one. A lot of the ones that I saw are oil-based, and oil's not going to mix in with that. It's going to want to sit on the top. So it's not, the oil-based ones are alright for baking, but if you want to make drinks out of them, you can't really be using the oil-based ones. You use the water-based ones. So that's fine. I think that's good. Is that what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to put that in a clean bottle, and we'll leave it for a couple of weeks, and we'll see how it is. But that's an alternative if you want a stronger liqueur. You have to buy yourself some food-grade alcohol. Quite easy to come across. You just do a search on the internet. and companies will sell you it relatively easy. My credit card and my details and an address, and they sent it in the post, and it came kind of quite quickly. Wasn't that expensive if I looked at comparable to a price of a vodka. You kind of like quite a comparable kind of price. So interesting. So that was pomegranate liqueur part 2. I think as I've got some left, and I've got some blackberry juice in the freezer, there'll be at some point I will be making some blackberry liqueur. But anyway, that's it. I think that's a good recipe. I'll write in the description. I'll write the recipe and what kind of I did, and there we kind of go. I think that's it. Yes, that's it.